Okay. By the way, the new software version is going to be 3.936. 3.936. When Skymate sends out the disks next month, they will also make the Skymate software available on their website. So if anyone has the ability to burn a disk, they can go right to Skymate's website, skymate.com, and they can get it right there. The marine electronics dealers that sell Skymate systems will also have the software. Okay, let's move on to the forms. I'm going to cancel out. The cancel button, by the way, acts as a back button. And I'm going to go to Forms NE, or Forms Northeast, and again, that's new. We've taken the catch and trip forms and combined them into Forms NE, and I'll show you why. Okay, this is the screen it brings up. And you can see at the top we've got multi-species, monkfish, scallop, and herring. What we've done is we've grouped all the forms of an FMP together. So if an owner or operator says, gee, what groundfish forms do I have to send for my trip? They can go to Forms NE, multi-species, click that on, and I'm doing that now. And it's going to bring up all the VMS forms required under multi-species. In this particular case, it brings up 3. The catch form, the trip start and end, and the restricted gear area notification. There are more. You notice the more button that I have at the top. Click that on. And there we have the Gulf of Maine cod trip limit exemption and the new form, the Gulf of Maine gillnet mesh exemption. So again, we've grouped all the forms under the appropriate FMP. I'm going to cancel and go back. Okay, we'll start with multi-species, and I assume Doug Crystal is coming up. Olivia?
Yep, I'll go grab Doug.
Okay. In case there are any questions, we'll have Doug Crystal up here to answer any detailed groundfish regulatory questions. So we'll start with the groundfish catch form. The changes on this screen, there's one, actually there are 2 changes. In the instructions, you'll notice that the forms are sent depending on whether you're making a multiple broad stock area trip, a single broad stock area trip, or a U.S.-Canada BDAS and or SAP trip. By the way, can somebody tell me, are you able to still see my screen? Anybody? Or did it go black?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. I want you to notice the first change under the instruction that says for U.S.-Canada BDAS and or Special Access Program trips that the text has changed, that it now says for each day of a declared trip, this report must be submitted by 9 a.m. the following day. Negative reports, or 0 pounds, must be submitted when no fish were kept. The reason that the text changed was to ensure that the operator understands that negative reports are required. If you're in transit or you fished and didn't catch anything, you still have to report a negative report. That specific text you will find on the other catch reports that we're going to go over shortly. The other change, and I mentioned there are 2, is under this section here, important. And where it used to say that you were required to enter a 0, it now says you are not required to enter a 0 in those spaces below in which no fish were kept. And if you go down and look, that's a lot of fields to enter zeros. And it's just unnecessary characters for the operators to send and to get charged for. I mean, a per character cost isn't very much, but if we can cut down the cost, we will. So it's no longer necessary to put a 0 in those fields where no fish were caught. So a quick example, let's go ahead and I'm going to fill out a complete report. So the VTR field, that'll handle up to 14 characters as before. Date fish caught is a drop-down menu. Selected March the 29th. Statistical area would be the NMFS statistical area. So I'll plug in 521. It only can take 3 digits. Species kept, let's say I fished the Gulf of Maine. And again, I don't recall where the statistical area is.
Inshore Georges Bank only. 521 is inshore Georges Bank.
Okay, all right. Doug is telling me that 521 is inshore Georges, so we'll go ahead and make it more realistic and enter data for inshore Georges. So let's say I caught, give me a number, Doug.
1,000.
1,000 pounds of cod. By the way, you can enter up to 1, 2, 3, 6 digits in that field. So 1,000 pounds in yellowtail, let's say 250. Okay? You notice the send button is there, and I can send that. What you see in that small window is what the text, the body of the form will look like that comes to NMFS. And we're showing the subject line is form.ner.mults_catch.5. And we've got the timestamp, VTR serial number, month, day, stat area, and then in order, the various species kept by broadstock area. In this case, it's showing me 1,000 pounds of cod, inshore Georges, 250 pounds of yellowtail in inshore Georges, so that our stats people can then process that data. If you catch no fish at all and you're in transit, but you have to send it the next morning before 9 a.m. as the instructions require for U.S.-Canada, BDAS, or SAP trips, you notice I have no information in the kept fields, but I can still send the form. And everything is there except for the kept information in the 4 broadstock areas. We don't want to forget that at the bottom of the form is all fish kept, and this is not new. It's not a summation of each column because all fish kept includes all ground fish and non-ground fish in pounds. Okay. Doug, do you have anything in particular you want to say about the ground fish catch report?
Not on this one.
Okay.